What's going on, boys and girls, children of all ages? That's right. Thanks for joining the Georgia Wrestling Spotlight exclusively here on Patreon. Sort of. More news on that announcement coming later into the show. Well, man, as you probably have noticed, I am not joined by Heath this week. I am joined by Myron. What's going on, buddy?
With the large, pasty-faced fat man, give it away. I am so happy to be back here this week, folks. I love doing this show. Cannot wait to get started, Nick, because I love Georgia Indy Wrestling.
Well, man, look, lots of stuff going on we got to get to, so let's jump right into the deep end here on the Indy Rewind, where we look back on the week that was this past week in Georgia Indy Wrestling. And, man, let's start right up the road here, Royston, Georgia, ApoXalypse Pro Wrestling, as I affectionately call them, the artist formerly known as Squared Circle Action. Beginning signs of cracks in the armor of the apocalypse up there in Royston. TJ Trigger. Where's he been? Like, he had been gone, seemed like forever. Makes a big return before he ships off. Defeats Austin Thorne to capture the Friday Night Championship. The first, like I said, chink in the armor of the apocalypse may be upon us, Myron.
I think it might be, Nick. That kid, very impressive. Slowly ticking away, though. I don't like the apocalypse. I don't like ApoXalypse Pro Wrestling. I like SCA, Squared Circle Action. So I haven't been in a while, and I really haven't had the incentive to go because I am a Squared Circle Action fan. So I can't see what happens. Can't wait to see what happens. JJ needs to go.
Look, that may be coming sooner than later as a team is being assembled here over time. And we're going to talk about that a little bit as we get into the Making the Drive segment. Jonathan Feltner's putting a team together. We found out there's going to be a huge Apocalypse Asylum match. Feltner's got to put a team together to face Apocalypse. If they can win, he will get an opportunity to get his hands on JJ, John the Body Johnson himself, an opportunity to win back the company that Jonathan Feltner loves so much, Squared Circle Action. So Team SCA is being put together as we speak. Well, like I said, we will discuss a little bit of that later on. And with all of these things going on, I think, like I said, the apocalypse better watch out because it looks like the armor is starting to show its weaknesses, amongst other things. Also, quick shout out. Look, well wishes to Xander Seabolt as he fell victim to the greatness, Chop Top, Savage, and Dexter, as they used Seabolt to send a message to one Stevie Ray Frost. Just the eerie, writing on him it was just a lot of creepiness there, whatever.
They wrote on my friend Xander Seabolt.
You might want to check on your boy. I'm just telling you. That's what I'm saying.
No.
But again, more of that. And look, if you can't make the drive to Royston, always remember you can check them out on YouTube as well. And they are local on TV up there to that area if you're from the area.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, we love checking them out on YouTube. It's the greatest way to keep up with them up to date. And like you said, we will be discussing them again as they run their next show this Friday on the 18th. Also on Friday, Gainesville, Georgia. They got their initiation to One Fall Wrestling up there at the American Legion. And, man, Gainesville showed up big time.
I think we found an underserved market, Nick. Big city in Georgia.
Yeah.
Looks like a good wrestling area. Proof it's a good wrestling area. Overjoyed to see what they've been able to do there.
Yeah, look, the crowd was literally, there's a lot of times we talk hyperbole when we talk about sold out, hanging from the rafters, legit sellouts. Folks, this is it. They were told, hey, you have to turn people away at the door. This is it. You have reached max capacity for the building. That's it. No more. They put some photos out there. It was wild to see. But when you're rolling, look, Ilya Drago, another title defense. Warden and Vari Morales. You knew that one was going to be a banger, right? Vari Morales, by the way, huge, put out that promo video that he put out forward to promote this show. It does not in the least surprise me that this town turned out for him. I was quietly surprised. I wanted to ask you, look, Vari Morales and the Warden, Vari Morales being the superstar worker that he is, but when I saw Parker Lee and Teriyaki on this show, I perked up and was like, that's probably one of the matches I want to see.
I love the fact that Vari is so good versus big men. Okay. This is his specialty. Parker Lee and Teriyaki, I guarantee, was entertaining. Okay. Parker Lee, cameraman for Evolution. Yeah, everybody see that? Parker Lee got the camera snatched out of his hand by Bianca Belair, who then used it as a weapon. Congratulations, Parker, on your big TV shot. I know he's been there before, hasn't
he? Yeah. He's done some work before. Also, look, lots of other guys on the card, but want to bring attention. Main event, the superstars and the main men looks like they've got a little bit of a feud building here. Two of the absolute best young tag teams in the state of Georgia.
Yes.
Right now, obviously, they hold gold in multiple places, et cetera, et cetera. By far and away, one of the, I think, the brightest future. Questions coming out of this show, though, of course, is we're nearing the, summer stage show here on the 25th. Ilya Drago is at a record pace of defending that title show after show. We discussed it a little bit last week, and just seems to not be slowing down at all.
More exposure, Ilya Drago. Looks like a wrestler. Looks like the Incredible Hulk, for Christ's sakes. That man is massive and works very well. Big future for him. Can't wait for center stage, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge show. Obviously, all roads lead to that show. But one fall, by the way, this was not their only show. They pulled another one, which we'll get to it into a minute. But obviously, the big one they've got, that one we'll get into, and making the drives as well. Now, also on Friday, this is where we were. We took the drive up to Canton, Southern Honor Wrestling. Look, I get it, folks. Lots of things happened on this card. Joe Black picked up a win over his buddy, over his friend, a Hierarchy fellow member, Kenway. Grayson Pierce Lev picked up a win, on and on and on. We saw a lot of pieces come together. Big news coming out of there. We're going to save the big one to the end, because I actually had to talk about that a little bit on the Tapped In show. Grappler 26 wins a spot into the Rumblejack. Turns out to be one Hunter James. Hunter James, by hook or by crook, has found a way to get in and win an opportunity into the Rumblejack. Bryce Cannon defeated Rob Killjoy. He is still the Jake the Snake Legacy champion. Two massive topics coming out of the show.
Oh, God.
Gunnar Miller defeated Sunny Days, and the fans bring a fan strap match.
You were a strapper.
I did win. I had one of the little tickets. I did win an opportunity to be inside the guardrail, to be part of the straps. I got one good shot in on Gunnar Miller.
Yeah.
Just one. That's, it was, they wasn't out on the floor a ton. They were smart not to get out there because they didn't want to get a good old whooping. But post match, listen, it's a fine line to walk here, and I get it. Faye was upset. He took her strap, and she went in there, and Gunnar Miller speared Faye. If you don't know who Faye is, it took a hell of a shot, by the way. I mean,
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you when you told who Faye was, but it was so overwhelming when that happened.
Yeah. Faye is the heartbeat and soul of that building. Let's just be honest with you. That she is kind of one that kind of holds things together operationally during shows and stuff. So, look, people ask the questions, like, hey, was this kind of one of the, I think they sent in a question and asked on the Tapped In show, like, was this the most memorable moment of Southern Honor for so far this year? And you could probably make the case that is, just because it was so shocking.
Yes. Now, the card was packed with phenomenal matches. Joe Black and Kenway. We had Alex Kane and CT Keys. The ending was weird. But Gunnar spearing her destroyed the crowd, ruined everyone in there. It was so crazy. the place went wild. But,
well, the problem, it just went silent when she got speared. No one knew how to process what had just happened. And then like you said, after the main event, CT Keys and Alex Kane just felt off all because of that probably. Yeah. But then when the chaos ensued at the end, we're going to get a triple threat at the Rumblejack. But the big news I get it, triple threat, but the Rumblejack itself, massive. Look, we have this conversation all the time. Still here is their WrestleMania. The Rumblejack is their Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. My argument is, just like the WWE, I would sometimes argue, I like the Royal Rumble better than I like Mania.
Yeah, I can say that too.
My favorite show at Southern Honor is probably the Rumblejack.
Always Rumblejack. So, one of the biggest can't miss shows in Georgia every year. I think Shindig is my favorite just because Southern Fried is my home, but the Rumblejack is so great. But I had some commentary here. If you're a fan, don't steal the show. Don't be a jerk. Those people are out there putting their lives on the line to entertain you. Don't try to steal the show. That's all I've got to say.
Obviously, like we said, the Rumblejack's coming up 8/8/25. August the 8th. I'll be more specific. Obviously, if you missed the show and you want to see the setup, as always, you can find Southern Honor on IWTV and catch up as you head into the Rumblejack.
Now, will Matt Griffin be in a crate at Rumblejack also?
Look, let's go there. Multiple pictures put out there of Matt Crate in the little dog kennel, dog crate, whatever.
She called him Matt Crate.
Very fitting. Matt Crate, Matt Griffin. Yeah. See, I was already thinking of my head was ahead. He was in a crate. The Kingpin looked comfortable. I'm kidding. He didn't. Nor should he. But guess what? I know a lot of people had a lot of fun, and here's where we get serious at what we do. A lot of people had fun at the expense about being locked into the dog kennel and locked or whatever. Here's my thing. But at the end of the day, unfortunately for Faye, by the way, unfortunate for Dylan, sunny days, Gunnar Miller and Matt Griffin had the last laugh at the end of that show.
Maybe feud of the year. Stole his dog. Brought Gary back. Strap match. Spear Faye. Dog crate. I don't know how you get better for the year than that. You can't tell me anyone's done better work this year than Matt Griffin. By far. Multiple promotions all across Georgia. The guy has been able to put people over and help Georgia wrestling. Helping is so important, and Matt Griffin has killed it. Yeah. Love that guy.
Don't like that guy. Also on Friday, Platinum Championship Wrestling right there in Conyers, Georgia. They had a phenomenal show, by the way. Friend of the show, William Huckabee, had a hell of a match for the Dealer's Choice title.
Yeah.
DJ Smoke did retain the title because that Dealer's Choice he gave was a 5-minute time limit. He did not pick up the win. Super controversial. Literally, the referee counted 3 as the time limit expired, and he, of course, gave the decision to the champion, so he retained. Narcissism defeated R.C. Daniels. Rolls Gold defeated Tsunami. CT Entertainment defeated Country Strong Tile, on and on and on. The crazy story coming out of this one, however, is Dominic Stuckey has finally earned a shot at Narcissism for the PCW title.
That's a banger. That's a straight up banger right there. That's going to be.
I will insert this. Let's insert this comment into this thing before we move on. I want to say this about Dominic Stuckey. Is Dominic Stuckey the best wrestler like out on the indies? Right, Dominic Stuckey belongs like on this underrated, underappreciated list on a regular basis.
Oh yes, by far.
Not sure why more people don't use him. He delivers everywhere he goes. So
Good
it's
guy.
always shockingly. Yeah. It just throws the question mark on a regular basis.
Maybe he's too busy.
No. Promotions need to step up their game. We'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we brought it up. Huck, I think Huck realizes how he probably feels like he was robbed of this opportunity. And I don't think this is the last time we're going to see. So we're heading into a phase where I think we're going to see William Huckabee taking, this opportunity. He's got to take I think it's become a challenge to Huck to take that dealer's choice off of DJ Smoke. Obviously, we're leading into, coming back with Nazicism and Dominic Stuckey. The whole controversy, Rose Gold, and the fallout from her versus Tsunami. All of those things lead into PCW is like a clockwork, dude. Check them out. You have got to follow them on social media. They run a couple times a month. They also, by the way, have that CCDL Lucha promotion that runs in the same building. So always kind of follow all the above of keeping up with the shows that run there. Their shows are on YouTube. Their next show, obviously, is on the 18th as well. So also, now we move to Saturday. Passion of Wrestling champion down in Swainsboro. Lots of stuff going on. I heard from personal sources in this building, Brandon Cage, Christian Taylor, Don Yoder, and Dax Anthony. Dax Anthony, another one, kind of coming back strong when he had a little bit of a way he was gone. Oh, and shockingly, look who's on this card. Friend of the show, William Huckabee. Picked up a big win over James Hall. I heard nothing but positive things.
3 shows, 3 days.
This was an absolute slobber knocker, as they say. 2 big dudes doing a lot of big stuff. Dead Man's Hand, they defeated the Brain Smashers. Brain Smashers are friends of the show. They're got a buddy of ours that's kind of in their corner and won Dr. Brock.
Brock.
That is a huge, look, I get it. Dead Man Hands are the champions, but you got to almost consider them, a little bit of that was an upset in my opinion.
Dr. Brock was one of the first person that was nice to us. I know he's a bad guy, but he was nice to us when we were started doing this. He will always have a special place in my heart.
Dirty Dog defeated James Swat for the Southern Pure Championship, but this is far from over, folks, so make sure you're checking them out. A bunch of new people showing up there as well. Check them out on YouTube. Their next big show is August 9th. Easy for me to remember. It's my brother's birthday. Lots of shows, by the way, looks like they're coming on. So also on Saturday, 12 Gauge Pro Wrestling runs that they ran in Rome. Crowned a new champion in Walker 13. I'm assuming because my Roman numerals are pretty good. Just saying. Question marks, who's is going to be his first title defense down the road? Because the most memorable moment was his surprise. Everybody thought he had been eliminated, but he came back into the tournament, picks up the huge win, and is the new champion. Did a really good job. Hopefully you can catch this on Facebook/YouTube. That's what I was told. And their next big show there in Rome is on August the 10th. Saturday, WrestleMerica. Dude, this card was stacked and loaded from below. This is the show that I had every intentions of going to potentially on Saturday. Started not feeling good. Then it turned into I might go to the Stone Mountain show because it was a little closer. It was hot. I wasn't feeling well. It turned into staying home on Saturday.
Rest.
But this is the
Plenty of fluids.
Yeah. This was the show, like I said, I'd hoped to go to. Luka Daniels picked up a huge win over Jay Alpha Miller, another guy. This is your reigning rookie of the year, if you want to, go with that. But the kid is an all-star. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Phenomenal. Looks great too.
You know what I like? I like bad guys that like being bad. That's a pretty simple answer.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. How about like bad guys that want to be bad guys? Family Matters defeated the Soldiers of Fortune. They are the new tag team champions down there. It was a night of a lot of title changes because also Bryce Cannon defeated Drew Adler and Hunter James, and he is your new Liberty champion. Bryce Cannon, I kind of talked to us a little bit about this on the Tapped In show. He's your Jake the Snake Legacy champion. He is now your Liberty champion at WrestleMerica. He's a major. Watch out, folks. He's starting that move where he's jockeying into position.
Oh.
Just might trying to make a case for himself to be he's the best wrestler in Georgia. Just saying.
He's the Mercedes Monet of Georgia. He's going to keep collecting belts. Yeah.
He doesn't have creative control, and he's not refusing to do jobs though. Sal Renaro and Hayden Seal defeated Von Miller and Michael Gabriel. Jacob Johnson defeated Paul Lasher. Big one, though, however, KJ Impala is still your WrestleMerica champion as he defeated Fried Eddie in a lumberjack street match. The young man, and I use that young, I didn't realize he's as old as he is, but KJ Impala, dude, star.
Blue chip. Looks like a wrestler, works like a wrestler. He's over. This guy, KJ Impala, I think he has a very big future ahead of him.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I wish I'd saw him in more places as well. Big news, big stuff coming out of the show. Also, by the way, Michael Stevens, he knew he had to face Luca at some point this year, but he was going to make the announcement of when that match would happen. He did come out and announce that will happen at Halloween Hell, so that's a few months away. But next show, the Greed or Glory Rumble, the winner of this Battle Royal gets the choice of $5,000 or a title shot. They get to choose.
Oh,
that's the question. Is it greed or is it glory? Can I tell you something? I love this, like, angle, gimmick, story, whatever you want to call it on this. I absolutely love this. But anyway, I could book out from this idea. This one, I'm like, if you're a heel, take the money and figure out a way to get a title shot. Like, you can still earn title shots. They do a great job, by the way. One of the strengths of WrestleMerica we talk about is they run their stories.
Yes.
It is a very much a Southern company with a wrestling company, but they also got some twists and turns with some modern stuff, which I'm a big fan of. And if you don't believe me, check them out on YouTube. Their next show is, of course, August the 9th as well. This is the show we discussed where I kind of started back going, where was I going to go? Saturday One Fall ran at Outrun Brewing there in Stone Mountain. Lots of matches, dude. I'm talking we're loaded card. The biggest thing coming out of the show, though, I wanted to ask you about this. JD Inc. and Trevor Blackwell have an amazing match. It's an absolute battle. This is a feud that we thought was done. Clearly, they're not done with each other. Trevor Blackwell has a brutal battle. Then, by the way, enters the Battle Royal to get a future One Fall title shot. He wins that match. Trevor Blackwell wins the Battle Royal.
Mm-hmm.
Little does he know, however, that heavyweight title match was right then.
Oh.
So an impromptu match. Drago gave him his match right then. He, of course, did come up short. I mean, he had just had a battle with JD Inc., endured this Battle Royal, and now he's got to fight what arguably is one of the top champions in the state of Georgia, Ilya Drago.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. JD Inc.'s nothing to sneeze at, man. That kid's good. He's good. He seems like a really nice guy as far as the way he handles himself. Man, I wish I could have seen this. I really wish I could have seen this.
On top of all of that, I actually got a question about the main Teriyaki and Vari Morales. We had a fan question sent in to this, and I probably misspoke because I think I said Gainesville, but it was Stone Mountain. Got crossed over in my brain. This match is being, like, literally I had a fan asking me, was this a potential match of the year candidate? And I had to be honest. Hey, I didn't go. I didn't see it. My fault. I'm sure it can be arranged for me to get some video footage of this match. Probably out there, just saying, hopefully crossing my fingers. I need to see it because I have been told nothing, and I mean nothing, but outstanding stuff about this match and how great it was. So,
man, they are killing it at One Fall. Probably the biggest draws of the weekend. And if you're not working with them or you're not using their talent, the school talent, you're making a mistake right now. They are poised to be a major powerhouse in independent wrestling, not just in Georgia but the Southeast.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. The questions heading out of this show and then into the coming up weeks and the next couple of weeks, to be honest with you, is can Ilya Drago continue to defend? Essentially, it feels like he is defending that One Fall championship at every single show. Even between now, he could coast for the next 2 weeks and be like, I don't have to defend my title for 3 weeks, for until I get the summer stage. Nope, he's just burning through dudes. Like, he's just chopping wood every single show. And that's, what we said. Now, I know a lot of people ask, hey, where can we see their shows? All we've been told is keep your eye on social media. Should be a big announcement here coming in the next, I was going to say the next few days. But it'll be by the end of the weekend or by the week. So keep a follow, check them out.
I can't wait to hear what that is.
And listen, check them out again. One fall, follow them on social media without question. Sunday, this is where I made the long drive. I hopped into the car and it went from 3 hours and 1 minute to when I initially put it into my GPS, doodled around the house, started to get ready, and it said 3 hours and 40 minutes to get there. So I don't know what the hell happened. I decided to take the scenic route. Horrible idea. For the first time ever, I got a speeding ticket in Social Circle on the way to the show.
No,
I said, I'll never take the back redneck roads again. I will stick to the interstates because that's what gets me there and gets me there, without problems.
You're a very responsible driver. But Social Circle of all places.
The speeding ticket laying over here to my right says otherwise. And so said the officer who pulled me over. He was I appreciate him. He was at least, he was super cool about it. We won't get it. I should tell that Patreon story about what happened. But yeah, anyway. Kevin Cantrell defeated multiple people, Joey Hyder, JP Harlow, and ERC in a cash-in-hand scramble. And it is your new cash-in-hand championship holder. Not surprised. Kevin Cantrell, we've talked about him at multiple times across the, multiple shows. We are huge, massive fans of Kevin Cantrell, and think he is the match that he had with Joe Black is still one that I tell people you should go definitely check out on their YouTube channel. Speaking of Joe Black, picked up a huge win over Cassius King. Let me tell you something. Occasionally a match happens. We saw one aspect of Joe Black at Southern Honor. Very much, they got in there and him and Kenway wrestled at a great wrestling match. He did like big dude stuff. He just started like punching and forearming and slingshot. Yeah, he beat the shit out of Cassius King. And I mean, he did good. Don't get me wrong. King did a good job holding up. But Joe Black showed him who Joe Black was.
Is Joe Black the most legitimately violent wrestler in Georgia?
I say he's physical.
He's intimidating. He's intimidating as hell.
Intimidating is a good word. That's a good one. That is true. Yeah. Joe Black is one of the last guys I feel like you want to stand across the ring from and have him staring at you, knowing that he has some bad intentions. That's all I will say, right? All-Star Special picked up a win in the tag team season, which we'll get here in a minute, and picked up a point over Quick Drip. The Business defeated Saturday Night Temptations. Charlie Kills defeated Travis Ray. Here's the interesting one. We had a little bit of a conversation about this last week. Jay Wells and Don Halo defeated Noir in tag team season where they're racking up points, but they did it via DQ. And how do you say did they win via DQ? That would because during the match, outside the ring, the All-Star Special, and I'm throwing some air quotes up here, attacked Jay Wells and Don Halo, causing Noir to be disqualified because they attacked their opponents, causing Noir to go -3 points in the tag team season.
Please explain this, because Huck and you have told me this, and it seems like the best way to book something like this. It's like a sport.
We'll come back. I want to go through all right, I'll go ahead. I'll do it right here. Then we'll get into tag team season right here. Real simple, folks. They're going to do basically a point system between now and April of 2026. In tag team matches, if you win via pinfall, you get a point. If you win via submission, you get 2 points. If you lose via pinfall, -1, lose via submission, -2. If you're disqualified, it's -3 points in the tournament. Basically, your point totals are just going to add up between now and April. April will have the semifinals and May at the finals at the Kraken Classic. they will crown the new tag team champions. By the way, beautiful belts. I had the pleasure of taking an early look at them. They were sitting right in front of me at the show. I saw them. They're purple. They have a lot of cool designs on them. Big fans. Awesome.
Big fan of what they've done down there, Nick.
Yeah.
There's a reason our good buddy Sam became promoter of the year in Georgia last year. Not because of the fact he's the best promoter. There's better promoters. But Sam
Are there?
opened a town that had been burned by wrestling and built a product and built a roster where he gets continual crowds coming to his shows. They're moving to a better venue. Okay? Nobody works harder than him. There is nobody that works harder than him to promote professional wrestling in Georgia. End of story.
And so, therefore, kind of built into this tag team tournament that we're looking at that's going to take place over a year. I talked a little bit about it on Tapped In, why they, check that show out. I gave some thoughts about why I love the storytelling that they do. Speaking of storytelling, we get into the main event. Trevor Aon defeated Lamar Diggs. Trevor Aon, just a couple months ago, he captured that title. He defeated Justin Case to become the new Kraken champion. He picked up a win over Jay Too Strong. Now he's got to face Lamar Diggs. The assumption has always been life is not going to be, versus the business is never a level playing field because they always go out of their way just in case make sure he is always going to have the advantage in the numbers game. We discussed this a little bit last week when we were talking about the specific show. Like, was it time? Like, did Trevor Aon realize he could not? There was no way in the long term he could handle the business by himself. Like, he was going to have to. We felt like, hey, you got to find somebody in that Kraken locker room that you can trust to kind of watch your back. Trevor Aon wins and is still your Kraken champion because now he didn't look within the locker room. And as Trevor Aon so eloquently said on his, post-match interview when he talked in the ring, you don't just go to your people in the back. He went and found family. He went out the front. He brought in his family of the left-hand path, people he's been associated with for a long time, has a long history, people he knew he could trust. And not only does that now level the playing field for Trevor Aon and, increases his opportunities to retain that title because, everything will be fair, also shakes up tag team season because now the question becomes the left-hand path. There are multiple promotion champions. They have been across the state of Georgia. They have been champions. Now, what does that do to tag team season? Because Trevor Aon announces, not only are they here to watch my back, they're also here. They are a part of the tag team season at Kraken Pro Wrestling.
More changes, more big pops. The booker there is doing good. Continual storylines. I'm jealous I didn't get to go. There was a time constraint with my wife. So glad you got to go because I believe, didn't you put some incentive on watching the YouTube show? Wasn't there something special on the YouTube show?
Listen, check them out on the YouTube channel. If you watch this particular episode, they do break their episode, their shows up into multiple episodes across the YouTube. When we come to the main event, Trevor Aon beating Lamar Diggs, they did invite me to do commentary. I sat in. Both of those guys, really great guys, and got to sit in with commentary. Appreciated them being courtesy, and letting me sit in with them. So, it was a something I'd never done. Really had no interest in, to be honest with you, doing it. But it was fun. I won't say I didn't enjoy it because I did. It was really, really, really fun. But will I do it again? Time will tell. We shall see. Correct. We shall see. Check them again. Check them out on YouTube. Their next show is on the August the 10th, and they will be sporting a new venue. They are moving over to that new venue we talked about a little bit.
Most impressive.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Can hold up to 400. So they're doubling the size of the crowd that they can handle. So absolutely, without say, get your tickets, man, because it should be a blast at their new home there. Well, Myron, that's like I said, we talked about a lot of stuff, but that always leads us to the big question. And that question every week is, who won the week here in Georgia Indy Wrestling? Lots of candidates, and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to rattle them off, and I'm going to let you kind of start picking who you think it is. Bryce Cannon picking up the Liberty Championship and retaining the Jake the Snake title. So successful title defense and a win.
Yes, very impressive.
Great case to be made there. Jonathan Feltner, he's settling his team in. He got the Asylum match coming, so he's got an opportunity. He's gotten an opportunity to get his company back.
Starting to build up to their big show.
Yep.
This is their not quite go home show for their August 1st show. So that was a good thing. Big deal.
Trevor Aon, we just talked about it. Handing the business, their third straight loss. He brought in the left-hand path, so he's still your champion, and he solidifies a little backup to help him over the next separate times.
Very important. Very important.
Or, listen, this ain't going to be a popular one. I get it. Or is it Gunnar Miller and Matt Griffin for overcoming a match? Listen, we clearly feel like, and this is my personal opinion, by the way, up close and personal, like you said, the match was clearly meant to give Sunny Days the upper hand. Because when we saw Sunny Days go out, fans weren't really in a hurry to whip on Sunny Days. They like Sunny Days.
He came down with his dog, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
How do you hit a man with his dog?
When Gunnar Miller went out, I can attest personally, was ready to take the strap to it.
Yeah.
So not only did they defeat Sunny Days in this match, but also spearing Faye left the crowd absolutely stunned in all of this. So let's work through this of like, without saying,
Dog crate.
What about it?
It was in the match. Matt Griffin in the dog crate was part of this. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we talked about it. Yeah, sorry. He was in the dog crate. So
I just can't get over it.
All things were created to make Sunny Days have, some would argue, level the playing field. But it's, when you start talking about, like, we knew who the fans were going to strap if he went outside and who they weren't. You kind of want to say it leans that way. So the question becomes, let's walk through this real quick of who wins this week with those, like, all great accomplishments. Who give me two that were really like your two finalists if you're picking between the two.
Gunnar Miller, spearing Faye, and that just shutting down the entire crowd. And Bryce Cannon with two big title defenses. And if I had to pick one, Bryce Cannon defended the title on the show where Gunnar Miller speared Faye, and Matt Griffin was in a dog crate with Gary leaning on it. Yeah, you can't beat that. So, to me, Southern Honor won the week. It's going to be the most talked about.
Southern Honor. Southern Honor didn't win the week. I would tell you Gunnar Miller and Matt Griffin won the week because they walked out of there like the cat that ate the proverbial canary. So, listen, I don't like it, but you're probably right on this week just because of the sheer the actions that went down. Look, that's enough about the look back over the last week. Let's hit the gas. Let's put the pedal to the metal, as my dad used to say back in the day, and let's make the drives. And we look ahead to next week's shows. Friday, June 18th, McDonough, Georgia, one fall. It's just simple, folks. I get it. Matches at this point, all roads lead to Summer Stage. We're literally going to be, when this show happens on the 18th, we're 1 week away to Summer Stage.
This is the Raw before Summer Stage.
Yes, it is the Raw because there's a Monday. There'll be a SmackDown on a Monday. That's what was throwing me for the loop there in my head. So everything. Look, also another huge announcement, by the way. They did announce that there will be a casino gauntlet match where there will be a breakout champion class. So they're going to get their second title there at one fall. And look, when it comes to McDonough in this show, my question was simple. Is Drago going to put his title on the line again and risk losing it 1 week out? My answer to myself is probably because the guy just doesn't back down. I wouldn't be shocked if he put a title on, when they have a show we'll get to in a minute. I wouldn't be shocked if he's defending it there too if he wins here. So check them out, by the way. One Fall Pro Wrestling.
Looks great.
Yeah. 1fwlive.com. That's how you can get your tickets to all the events. And you want to stay in because the events just don't stop. They just keep coming, folks. Also on Friday, APW/SCA up there in Royston. Because the reason we're going to start slashing because sooner than later we got to get used to saying SCA potentially again if Jonathan Feltner has his way. That's what I'm saying. Maybe. And all roads lead to their Asylum Caged War August the 1st. Feltner's kind of been putting his team together. It's Seabolt, Ashworth, Frost, and Crocker for now. ApoXalypse, of course, has Vane, Lev, Scott Mason, and Austin Thorne kind of putting them together. And, of course, if Feltner's team can win, he gets JJ one-on-one with all the opportunities to get his company back.
Scott Mason is my third favorite wrestler. This is going to be good. This is going to be the big guys in Royston doing the big match. This is starting to build wonderfully for August 1st. You want to see August 1st, you'll need this to understand.
Yeah. Also on Friday, DWA will be in Atlanta right there on Krog Street. The big matches coming out of there is the DWA Women's Tournament match where Jazzy Yang, Vivian Cross, and Alexandra Quill will face off. Had a question about that match over on the Tap 10 show. That's why you should be a member of our Patreon and checking that one out. I answered that question. Not going to do it here because you got to go check it out over there. Also on the card, the poster shows Bobby Flacco, Grayson Pierce, the Northside Heroes, and a bunch more. Check them out again. Bell time, I believe, is at 8 o'clock right down there on Krog Street. DWA, Dynamic Wrestling Association. Also, Southern Extreme Championship Wrestling is going to be in Temple. The bell time there is 7:30 p.m. Frankie Valentine, he's going to face off with Brad Lynch. Tyson Maddox, dude's jacked to the gills. Good luck, Adrian Hawkins. That's who he will be facing there.
A lot of craftsmen, though.
Listen, Hawkins has got some history there. Like he's worked CT Keys at Southern Fried, so big jacked. Yeah, absolutely. Johnny Swinger is going to be taking on Luka Daniels. That should be entertaining to say the least. Young Mamba, I wanted to make sure we pointed this match out. Triple threat cruiserweight title match. Young Mamba versus BK Bennett versus Christian Taylor.
How is he a cruiserweight? That dude is jacked.
He is under the weight. I had a conversation with him. I did run into him at Kraken. We got to talk for a little while. We talked about this specific match. You remember back in the day, cruiserweight's 225 or under. He is under 225. I asked him what he weighs. He told me, and I go, then you do qualify as a cruiserweight. So
that guy is all muscle, super talented.
And he's lean. That's why he's under the weight.
Wow.
Hunter James will take on AJ Black. That is a very, very big match for a lot of, for the youth talent here in the state of Georgia. And, of course, the Sons of Liberty, Hayden Seal and Xander Ork are going to take on Elrod Campbell and J.C. Payne, also known as Southern Distraction. Check out Southern Extreme Championship Wrestling over there in Temple, Georgia. I get it, folks. We're about to get a little bit of pushback and a lot of bit of grief. We're just going to mention the SCI Invitational Tournament Friday and Saturday. A little bit of action going on.
I mean, it's not like it's in Alabama or anything.
We talked about it on Tapped In. The reason why we bring it up, a lot of Georgia talent, but we also know that Action Wrestling is heavily involved, and Matt Griffin's helps with a lot of the stuff that goes on up there. Hence why put a couple names. This is not everybody's in the tournament. No disrespect for the guys that are not named. I actually had to pull these notes up when I got asked a question about this over on the Tapped In show. Cruel, Tim Bosby, Gary J, Colby Carini, Terry Yaki, and Danny Briggs. And there's other names on there as well on the poster. I put a lot of these names on there as I kind of could started kind of justifying why I thought these guys could win. Like this is kind of like my pool of people to win. But Myron, who's your money got to be on when you see that list of names? Yeah,
Cruel. Tim Bosby is incredibly impressive. Cruel. I mean, I've seen Cruel do horrible things to people in the name of wrestling. So my money is always going to be on Cruel in any match he's in. So
Yeah. So, and then we kind of said it just depends on the direction they're going to go in. So the question I got asked was who was my dark horse pick if I had to, obviously my money's on Cruel. Sorry, folks, that's the kind it is. However, if I had to pick a dark horse pick, go check out the Tapped In podcast. That choice was picked over on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, obviously, this is, I believe, where we're going to be on Saturday premiere at Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, Monroe, Georgia. Bell time 7 o'clock.
And the name of the show? We Have Power.
Here's the crazy thing is, I, again, asked a question about this specific show. I appreciate you guys sending in the questions, by the way. tappedoutpod@gmail.com. We'll try to cover those over on that show and not go into some of the answers because this kind of shows to more try to cover the actual shows themselves. But check that out over there. Mad Street, Sunny Days, Sour and R taking on the approved of Nick Halen and Adrian Hawkins. Jacob Ashworth is going to get an open challenge for his Georgia Heritage title. We finally are going to get to hear from the Crusade following the fallout of the penitentiary match, as well as the Sexton Alliance. Michael Walker, Seth DeLay, they're the tag champions there. They should all be back in the house as well.
I'm super excited to see who steps up to Ashworth. Probably the most over man in Georgia wrestling. But, man, that's going to be exciting. This is a great show. I can't wait. I'm going to be there. Oh, wow. And there's a great show on the other side of the state, too.
Yeah. As you by Freudian slip, as I was reading ahead in the notes, Premier All-Star is going to be running a show in Buchanan, Georgia. Bell time's at 7 p.m. It is their big summer show. Like, I kind of joked on the Tapped In show about, like, it just feels like we're about to get, like, the summer, like every promotion has a big summer show.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave a scenario where I felt like we are jockeying in position to where we may end up having, like, 3 summer shows that are, like, the metric for promotions. There's a big one in June, there was a big one in July, and there's a big one in August that I was like, are these that? Over at the Tapped In show.
Yep.
Stevie Ray Frost will defend the premier heavyweight title against Alexander Lev. Lev's been fighting. He's been getting these, trying to get this opportunity. Can Lev be the guy who ends? Stevie Ray Frost has been your premier all-star champion for 11 months.
Oh, God.
So can Lev be the guy to dethrone Stevie Ray Frost? That's one of the big dying questions.
Lev is he's a hell of a wrestler, so I would like to see this.
Yeah. DCVC, a.k.a. the artist formerly, halftime known as the Hierarchy, they will be taking on the Country Gentlemen from NWA. They will be defending those tag team titles, put those on the line. Xander Seabolt gets to step into the ring with Frankie Valentine. Scott Mason's taking on Luke Da Silva. Austin Thorne and AJ Black in a 2 out of 3 falls match. How about this? But okay, I got to pause. I know I'm rattling some pretty quick. This is about as old school wrestling as you're going to get when you see the living legend in his own mind, Pat Roach, taking on Sean Nelson. That is that is old school wrestling right there, folks. That is probably going to be worth the price of admission alone. And then, of course, Lamar Phillips, Chris Gaines, and Ryan Marks are going in a 6-man action to take on Tyson Maddox and the Wonder Boys there. That is about as loaded as you get with titles, matches, like just big names coming in. Premier All-Star, if you're sleeping on Premier All-Star, check them out. Like I said, they're on the opposite. Here's the thing. I'm looking at Saturday, and I'm just looking at the actual location of them all. I'm going to get back to it, folks. Monroe over on one side. Boom, Southern Fried. Buchanan, Georgia. It's over on the other side. We'll get into one that's in Augusta here shortly. It's down in the other corner. Bullpen's going to be running. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. They're over in Delta, Alabama. There's shows everywhere, folks. That's why you should follow, and that's why you should check them out.
Best state in the country for providing a variety and a number of shows every weekend. I don't think anyone does it better.
I would agree with that. I 100% probably would agree with that statement. So now let's get into Next Level Championship Wrestling, Augusta, Georgia. Bell time 7:30 p.m. That is on Saturday. Look, there's a lot riding on the show. 1,000%. No bones about it. This is a huge show for Next Level.
And look at this card. Holy shit.
Yeah, look, it's in Augusta. Their women's championship tournament match. Savannah Evans, Kelsey Reagan. No surprise. Yeah. The main men open challenge. If you're not familiar with them main men, you probably don't listen to our show a lot because we are absolute massive fans of Sebastian Blaze and Mike Cunningham, the main men, whether it be singles or as a tag team. We discussed them a little bit earlier. Then we're going to get into matches that are for the heavyweight championship tournament. I'm going to be as polite as possible and say it's a plain out simple, this is a heavyweight tournament. These two guys are wrestling. Winner moves on. All right. Carl Hager is taking on Ilya Drago, who we've already sat here and repeated on multiple occasions. Probably one of the most dominant champions across the state of Georgia. I'll give you an idea. Making a joke about it, I said he's possibly defended that title more in a month than some people have in a year.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
I'm going to come back to the end and say this. Alan Angels taking on Drew Hood. Alan Angels, one of the best unsigned wrestlers in the country right now.
Yes.
If that's a hot take, I apologize. If you don't believe me, Prestige Wrestling doesn't fly you across the country for no reason.
Yes.
Just saying. Aaron Berry and TJ Era, they're in the tournament as well. Tristan Moody and Charlie Kills, that is part of the tournament as well. Think about, I was trying to make a point and say, we have a bunch of guys that legitimately we could say you could make a case why they should be the champion. And there's a couple in there that we're going, this is your champion.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Chad Skywalker on the card as well. As of recording, there was no opponent.
Yeah. Had the nicest conversations with Chad Skywalker. That young man is absolute joy to deal with. Absolute joy to deal with.
Completely and totally underrated. The character work that he's doing right now is right up there on par with it. Pretty much anybody across the state. Absolutely, without question, give him a look. Again, coming back to the importance of this show, rocky start for Next Level. Nobody's disagreeing with it. Everybody's saying, hey, it was what it was. But when I look at this card, we're like, okay, cool. This looks like a card. Bunch of guys that look like wrestlers. Bunch of people that I could be like, okay, that guy could be my champion. This lady could be my champion. So forth and so on.
I believe in Josh Fields. Okay?
Listen.
I believe in the guy.
I've told him. I said, listen, I've told this to his face. I admire the fact that he's like, hey, if I go down, I'm going down my way, and I'm going to go. I'm going to go down swinging my way. Kudos. I could appreciate that. I get it. Everybody doesn't have to agree with the decision that were made, right? I just tell people, but I can still admire the fact, if I'm going down, I'm going down swinging. So this is a huge, important show. And if you're in Augusta, Georgia, I don't know. You claim that you're wrestling fans. You claim that you're not tribal. You claim that you're whatever. Show up and show out. And, this card, the talents that are on this card warrant a good crowd.
Look at the talent he went out and got. Jesus.
Yeah. So, without question, check them out. Also on Saturday, Bullpen Pro Wrestling in Delta, Alabama. Nick, you don't cover Alabama. We do when it's a Georgia promotion, so remember the rules, folks.
Yes.
Bell, 7:30 p.m. Central Time.
Georgia
that is a key.
And
Cody Wyndham. Yeah, Cody Wyndham versus Julius Pryor. He's returning from an injured broken toe, believe it or not. So good. And Cody Wyndham's your former Bull of the Woods. I mean, you didn't start off on an easy match on your return. Eddie Honcho, Victor Thorne, Trey Jordan, and Dante Diamond. BK Bennett versus Ryan Wendell. And, of course, the big news that's come out in the last few is Zach Buchanan put out a video. He's coming to Delta, Alabama, but he ain't coming alone, and he is bringing a friend, and that is Jackson Slade. Jackson Slade was supposed to be at a previous show. Didn't make that. This is where he's going to come in and make his debut there at Bullpen Pro Wrestling. Bullpen is an absolute show you must follow on social media because they run this is becoming more and more of a thing, but we tell people they run promotion. I mean, they run shows in Roanoke, Alabama, Delta, Alabama, Temple, Villa Rica, on and all over that whole area. You got to follow them on social media. Specifically, I always recommend Facebook because not only do you get the cool, hey, this is where they're going to be with all the posters, But Bull is a regular on social media, on Facebook specifically with his videos, kind of letting you know what's going on with Bullpen Pro Wrestling. So
he must be killing it with logistics to be able to run so many different shows in so many different places.
Yeah, they do a great job. Speaking of which, the last show we're going to talk about this week, Monday, June 21st, the go-home show for Summer Stage, One Fall, running in Watkinsville, Georgia. We love that Watkinsville location. We've been
great.
to multiple shows. They absolute crush it there. It's the last show before Summer Stage. I expect total chaos just for that reason alone. But One Fall never goes out and disappoints. As they announced before they're going into the show, QT Marshall, who will be teaming with the Gun Club at Summer Stage, will face Griff Garrison, a member of the Frat House, who they will be facing at said Summer Stage.
I got a question about Watkinsville, though. Why don't they put out more chairs every show instead of having to go in the back and get more chairs? Because they know they're going to pack the place out and have to go get more chairs. Okay.
Well, then they run out of chairs. That's the problem.
Shows run out of chairs?
It happens
in Watkinsville? In a brewery?
So, a couple of things. One, go to 1fwlive.com, buy your ticket ahead of time. Two, get there early before they run out of chairs. They typically sell, but they do take standing room only at the end. So that's why I encourage you, buy your ticket, especially at Watkinsville. I mean, now we're realizing Gainesville looks like it's going to be the same scenario. Buy your tickets early and show up early. Don't show up like 2 or 3 minutes before bell time. Show up early. Hey, grab a beer, sit down, and enjoy the show. Show up an hour and a half before the show, an hour before the show. Swing by one of those cool places to eat that are in that big area.
Wonderful venue.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah. Wonderful venue. Those guys are filling venues on a regular basis now. Man, such good work.
Yeah. Again, check them out on social media. Get your tickets again at One Fall Wrestling. That is 1fwlive.com. That is everything that we could just plow through there in about an hour, man. Trying to let you know where you need this, what happened over the past week, where you need to look into this week. Of course, the social media post, I'll put it out with all of them on here. And I always try to tag in the one that I do. I try to tag the account so you can click on them to follow them easier. Hopefully that makes it easier for you guys, because then you can just click on it and then follow their page or like their page or whatever you're doing depending on who set up the account.
Now, if there are promoters that are listening, how do they get involved with all of this? How do they get their name on these shows?
So here's the thing. This is we talked about it a little bit on the Tapped In. We talked about it a little bit on the Tapped Out. And I'm going to talk about it again a little bit on the Georgia Wrestling Spotlight. Pretty simple before we get out of here, guys. The recap sheet to be on the Indy Rewind section, it is pinned to the top of not only the Tapped Out Podcast Network page, it is also pinned at the top of my personal TO Nick McDaniel page. So you got to fill out the recap things. And by the way, I'm reiterating, this is a new thing. I only want it filled out by somebody that is officially associated with the promotion. Whether it's the owner, the booker, the promoter, a talent that's on your roster that you trust to do. And I do all of that to say, and the reason why I want it that way is because I have the official, this is what we want out there post. I don't want any interpretations. I don't want any, hey, that's not what we wanted. That's not what I meant. That isn't what, nope, you told me this is what happened. So therefore, going forward, that's what I want.
Well, it's the promotion's job to tell the story. We're just here to talk about the story.
And we will help you tell the stories. Like, that's why we're doing this kind of at the end, because I kind of like, this breaks a lot of kayfabe at the end of the episode here. But it's kind of like, hey, you tell us what happened. You tell us, and we will kind of put that out there for you. And also, when it comes to promoting your shows, I'm looking at pages. If I see your poster and I can't find anything on your card, I'm not digging for 20 minutes to find the card for your show. If you want to know for a fact that your show will be promoted, you can simply, in Messenger, by the way, send me your poster and send me the card. Or whatever. You could write a paragraph of like, this is kind of how I want to promote the show. That works too. Some of it, by the way, is right here in the like what people can look forward to the next thing, in the recap, but etc. Help. I keep, it becomes a meme. I want to put a meme of me like putting out the Jerry Maguire, like, help me, help you, like, help me, help you. Like, that's the meme. And I'll probably put it out as soon as we're done recording, just with no context, no words, just put that meme up and see if anybody gets it. Because literally I think where we're going is it's just like, we're going to make it a priority to go to shows that participate, that they cooperate. If that's, again, I don't know if that's the right word. But the people that fill the reports out or whatever, if there's no interest in cooperation and no sending back and forth, we're just going to take them off the list, and it doesn't become a priority to go to those shows. And then we also, as far as promoting their next shows, eventually you would just fall off that list as well. And it could probably, there's 37 promotions that we follow on a regular that I have a date for. I have their next date, 37. That is correct. I actually have their next show date.
Well, I've seen the calendars.
Yeah. So my thing is real simple. If people weed themselves off and it gets down to 20, I'm okay with that. It's not time conducive. Like, if you don't have time to fill out the report, I don't have 2 hours a Monday to chase down all the shows. So we'll just weed those people out. We want to cover everybody. If everybody cooperates and everybody sends their stuff in and whatever, we'll talk about them. I promise that. That's it. We will. But if nothing gets sent in, it'll just help weed through the mess, I guess is what I say. So, and that's just kind of where I take it. Is there anything else before we get ahead? Because right now, this thing's exclusive, theoretically. Matter of fact, it's not. That's the big news. This is the Patreon videos for, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and put it here at the very end. If you gave a shit and you're still listening, the Georgia Wrestling Spotlight is going to be moving to the YouTube channel and to the audio channel as well, where we will be on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon podcasts. It'll be on all three. Had a bunch of people asking me about doing it. We put it a little bit out there. Patreon members were like, yeah, we see the value, but it kind of helps grow wrestling more, hopefully, if now that's discussed every week out in the open air of the podcast and not just on the Patreon page. So I agreed. I was like, okay.
So when you're making the drives, you can hear the show in your car. Easier.
Correct. Yeah. You don't have to have Patreon to watch the show after, last week technically, but going forward, it'll be on the audio and the YouTube platforms to kind of help get the word out there in general. So again, maybe that creates more of a value for people to cooperate and send the recaps in. Oh, so you're not just doing it on your Patreon page. Nope. It's going to be out into the masses. So therefore, maybe that gives a little bit of incentive for people to send it in. If not, so be it. That'll be my end. So be it. So man, look, again, we're just trying to help support wrestling, indie wrestling specifically as well. And if we ask you like, hey, how can you help support indie wrestling? It ain't just by listening to us, you yahoos. It's go out every weekend. We're telling you where you can go. Buy a ticket, sit in the crowd, look around, Myron, and guess what? They might just maybe see us looking across at them, and we might see you at the matches.